Welcome to episode 7 of the Spiritual 9 to 5 podcast, hosted by myself, Marie Groover of The Corporate Psychic. Today, we are continuing our mix of money, desire, purpose, and authentic self. Specifically, we'll talk about where to begin. Last week, we talked a little bit about bringing your mind along. This week, we're going to talk about jumping off the cliff. But first, a reminder. You are your greatest asset and your safest bet. When you are clear and connected with who you are and what you are capable of, you alone can secure and support yourself. And your purpose, it will never limit you. Your purpose will only ever expand your opportunities and avenues for enriching your life and monetizing your work. You limit yourself only when you try to conform to an existing pathway, opportunity, or system. You limit yourself when you try to be something that you aren't, when you try to be someone that you aren't. Therefore, our focus is going to be on not conforming, not seeking, and not expecting paths, outcomes, or opportunities, including results. Our focus is ultimately going to be on doing. And getting 100% of what you want doesn't come by doing what someone else has or is doing. Jumping off the cliff is surrendering to the creation of your own path, which doesn't look the same for everyone. So let's talk about what that means and what that might feel like. I think I've said this every week so far, and I have no shame in repeating it here. Getting clear on your purpose, on your big why, on the unchanging parts of you is crucial. What I mean by this is your why, your how, and your what. Simon Sinek coins this as the golden circle. I think that's what he calls it. I'm going to be talking about this more in my masterclass, Monetize Your Purpose. You're invited, by the way. And I have an entire 7-week container devoted to this. Your why, your how, and your what. This is your navigation system and your North Star for life. And it's not necessary for living authentically or joyfully. I mean, it helps a lot, but it is necessary if you want to monetize your work or finish anything related to your purpose and desires. Super necessary if in monetizing your work, you're building or creating a business. The thing is, it's so easy to skip this part. It's so easy to look outside of ourselves and to ask, what is the world missing? What hasn't been done before? Or what should I focus on? And then follow that up with, how do I do that successfully? And then not follow through with it at all. Like, how many of you have thought about something that you think the world needs, and then you decided not to work on it because you didn't think that success was likely, or because you saw too many barriers? Oh my God, there's no judgment right now, because this was me literally a few years ago. For my entire life, I had so many ideas, but no conviction, no follow through, no true belief in the ideas on their own. Yeah, that's because there's no conviction without purpose. Your purpose, your why, your North Star, the one that guides you. It's not a guarantee, it's not results, but it's your why, because you are your guarantee. When you're connected to this, when you're connected to your why, when you move from this place, the money and the results will come. I promise. Making money being who you are and doing what you want to do, it's not possible by being someone else's version of you, or by creating someone else's expectations, needs, or desires. It's by knowing and expressing your own. So to begin, get clear on your why. Get clear on who you are, on the unchanging parts of yourself. There are parts of you that do not ever change. Do you know them? Connect with them. And then understand how you are yourself. Understand the unique characteristics, habits, desires, activities that make you you. And then make a list of all the products and services or offerings that you can bring to the world, that you desire to work on, that you want to exist for yourself, that you want to bring to the world. And connect those dots. Those are your whats. Connect those dots to your why. I'm here to inspire people to touch the wisdom of their soul. That's my mission. That's my purpose. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm alive. I exist to inspire people to touch the wisdom of their soul. I'm obsessed with wisdom. I live for wisdom. It's one of my top 3 values. When I discovered my mission statement, I was like, oh, yeah, that is what I'm here to do. And I already do it by being myself. There's nothing that I need to do or change to be or to fulfill it. I naturally will fulfill it when I allow myself to be who I am. I'm doing it right now. The things that I offer to the world, my what's, are my poetry, my podcast, my writing, my work with TCP. And notice that the corporate psychic is only one way that I bring myself forward into the world. And it's only one channel for making money in how I bring myself forward to the world. A few years ago, teaching yoga was on this list. It really isn't anymore, and that's okay. What's also on this list is my work at Microsoft. I know how my why is connected to my what at my job. Game changer, by the way. Huge game changer, life changer, career changer, just like happiness factor changer at my 9 to 5. And surfing. Surfing is totally a product of my truest expression. It's something that I offer the world. I totally count this as a what. And no, I don't get paid in the traditional sense, but I get so much more than money when I surf. Plus, have I mentioned that I was recently in the Freestyle Watch Winter commercial? Surfing. What you can offer to the world and receive back, even in the form of money, by the way, is infinite. Your purpose will never limit you. It will only expand your opportunities for bringing your work into the world. And your what's, your services, products, and offerings are allowed to and will change over time. Let them. But this is important. This is huge because you are not your what's. You are not your products or your services. Your purpose is also not your what's. Your purpose is not your products, your services, your offerings. You were not born here to deliver something to someone. I was not born here to be or own the corporate psychic. I was not born here to surf as much as I would like to think I was. I was born here to inspire people to touch the wisdom of their soul. And the number of ways that I'm able to do that and make money is infinite. Your purpose will never limit you. So, moving on. So you're clear on your purpose. Step 2, before you jump off the cliff and into your life's work and into your purpose, into your full self, doing whatever it is that you feel called to do, serving the people with whatever it is that you feel called to bring to the world, ask yourself, what kind of world needs to exist for you to be and do everything that you want? What kind of world do you want to live in? How do you want to feel, be? How do you want to express yourself? How do you want to show up? And this is important. How can you realize that you embodying who it is that you are fully brings us all one step closer to the world that you imagine and most deeply desire? It's your responsibility, in fact, to show up and contribute to the building of this world. No, not by dictating how the world should be itself, not by dictating how we should build the world, but by building the world in being your fullest self. And this is a basic piece of your vision. Keyword here, vision. Your vision is what will bring your purpose, your North Star, and your work together. Lots more on this in my masterclass next week, but vision is absolutely key. Okay, so step 3, leap. Just start doing. Don't avoid it. Don't go around it. Don't take time explaining it or researching it. Just freaking do it. You don't need context. You don't need history. You don't need new skills. You don't need to sharpen old skills, to take any classes, to do anything prior. You don't need to do anything other than just doing what you want to do. This is wisdom from Aristotle, by the way. I'm not just making this up. He says this in his Nicomachean Ethics. He says, if you want to be a painter, you paint. You don't need to read about painting. You don't need to become the best at painting. You don't need to know everything about all the colors or all the tools or all the methods. You just need to paint. And if you think what you want to do requires more, because maybe you don't want to be a painter, but you want to do something that seems a little bit more complex, I offer you this from William Osler. It's one of my favorite quotes. He says, "He who studies medicine without books sails an uncharted sea, but he who studies medicine without patience does not go to sea at all." So theory is great, but experience is all that you need. If there is something that you want to do, and if there's something that you want to make money doing, then just start. Go to freaking sea. You don't need a degree. You don't need credibility, reputation, brand, a large following. Y'all, I closed January at 14.7K in sales, actually a little bit more than that. And I have 1,700 followers on the Corporate Psychics page. Probably less on my personal Instagram page, by the way. And I almost guarantee that right now, probably only 10 of you are listening to this podcast. You don't need a following. You don't need a strategy. You don't need to worry about the how. You don't need to worry about who. You don't even need a freaking website immediately. You also don't need to know all the things that you think you need to know. No list, no software, no budget. Let it go. Whatever it is, let it go. The Corporate Psychic was just a thought in my mind not even a full year ago. And I went full speed ahead, all in, months before my website was complete. In fact, by the time my website was built, I had already delivered over 100 readings under the name The Corporate Psychic. I had an amazing website launch because I was already working with people. And actually, my site went live in November of 2021, like not that long ago, 2-3 months ago, which is also when I kicked off and fully filled my first purpose-driven group container, Your Undisputed Wisdom. If I had waited for my website to go live, I wouldn't have been able to afford the web development work that I was paying for. If I had waited for my website to go live, who knows where I would be right now, not doing this, right? But by the time my site did go live, all the money I spent on TCP or planned to spend on TCP because I didn't have it was paid for by itself. In fact, every time I invested in myself or my business, every time I showed up, it has paid for itself monetarily, not even in the value that I got in the service or the coaching or the support or whatever it is that I was reaching for. Monetarily, that money has come back. Just begin. If you are clear on who you are, the rest will fill itself out. Not just because it did for me, not just because Aristotle says it, not just because William Osler, but because it's true. It doesn't have to be perfect. And yes, you will iterate. And yes, things will shift. And yes, not everything is going to be what you think it is. And yes, it's really freaking scary. And yes, it takes effort to be who you are, to show up every day, to talk about your work. And yes, your dreams and goals can feel very far away if you let them. Actually, it's natural. And when you want something, when you start something, it's natural for it to feel even further away than it is. It's kind of like when you start to learn something new, you also realize how little you actually know about that thing and how much more you have to learn, right? This isn't to discourage you. It doesn't need to be discouraging. It's actually just your awareness expanding. It's a shift in perspective. It doesn't mean that you are truly further away from the thing that you want, just like it doesn't mean that there is actually more information than there was before to learn. Nothing has changed, only your perspective. The way to get around this and away from discouragement is to just start taking steps toward the thing that you want. Yes, it really is that simple. But when you hold yourself back because you think you need a plan or a solution or a process or some back-end context, whatever, you delay the inevitable momentum and progress that could have been available to you. Remember, jumping off the cliff is a surrender to the creation of your own path. And when you surrender to this creation, the end result is always so much bigger and more beautiful than it would have been had you stayed in some pre-planned, pre-designed course and strategy that you arbitrarily limited yourself with. Surrender to the creation of your own path. No, you won't have all the answers. You won't ever have all the experience. You are learning as you go, and you're doing things that have never been done before. Give yourself grace and get to work. And by gee, if you're still not sold on working with me and find your purpose, please come to Monetize Your Purpose. It's a 3-day masterclass activation on February 7th, 8th, and 9th next week at 7 p.m. EST each night. And it's just so much more than I can put into a podcast. Plus, it's FaceTime with me directly to ask all the questions that your heart desires. And if you email the word monetize to hello@thecorpsepsychic.com, you'll get free access. Tell me, the last time you took steps toward your dreams, did you regret it? I'm willing to guess probably not. But the times that you dismissed your dreams altogether, those times might haunt you still. So do yourself a favor and email me right now. And then get excited for our next episode, which will examine how you know when you chose the right thing to work on. Or we can even examine how to know if you're choosing the right thing to work on, how to know when you're on the right track, and how to develop the fortitude and the support for yourself to forge ahead into the unknown continuously. Making money, being who you are, and doing what you want is inevitable if you show up in aligned action and embodied self. So let's keep it going. Thank you for listening to the Spiritual 9 to 5 podcast with myself, Marie, from the Corporate Psychic. Save and follow for more wisdom. I also invite you to follow me on Instagram at the Corp Psychic, and I would love for you to join our community. It's called TCP Community and Courses, and you can find it on Mighty Networks. And if you want to go big on you, reach out. I want to work with you. Wherever you are, whatever is on your mind, I hope to meet again, maybe in the next episode right here. I'm honoring you, and with gratitude, good day.